Hi, welcome back to the final lesson in this mini course. And to finish things off, we're going to be talking about today what 5 traits really separate the great candidates from the good candidates, because that's what it takes in this day and age to really stand out from the crowd. You need to be at that high level, okay? And we're going to summarize today just 5 traits that I think can make you be that star candidate and give yourself the best chances possible of securing that job that you want. So let's get stuck into this. Okay, so the first trait that I think excellent candidates will display is being smart about their job applications. It's all too tempting nowadays, given the competition and given that there can often be a lot of graduate roles available on the market, depending on what time of year it is. It can be tempting for you to just go with a scattergun approach and just throw out applications left, right, and center to every graduate job that you see out there. However, I feel this can decrease your chances of success because you're going with the quantity over quality approach. And it's not really giving you a chance when you're just applying for these roles all over the place to think too deeply about your motivations that we talked about throughout this mini course of why you want a particular role, and give you the time that you need to really focus on researching that company and the position that you're applying for, because you're just going for that machine gun approach, right? You're not taking the time to tailor your individual applications and your CV, your resume to these different roles. And another thing here is that we can often pick up on that. We can identify those candidates that are clearly just spraying their CV all over the place. And when it comes to asking them those tough interview questions, it's evident that they've not really done that much research. They've not really given things too much thought. So I would say, don't be that candidate. Okay. Just try and put some thought into what graduate roles you want to go after. And then the smaller that number, the more you can just focus on quality, okay, over quantity, and putting in the time and effort you need to stand out to individual companies. Secondly, here, the excellent candidates that I've interviewed over the years are ambitious and self-aware. Okay, they're aware of their strengths, they're aware of their development areas, so they're not shying away from what they would want from the company in order to improve their skill set as well. They're ambitious too, so they're just showing a desire to do well in the longer term, to contribute to that company's success. They're thinking about where they might want to be after they finish the graduate program, after they finish their probation period. Where do they see themselves? Even if we know that plans change, we take different directions in life, of course, we all do. But just having an idea of where you want to be and a plan to getting there. So setting out the milestones and then being able to communicate that clearly in the interview, that will impress the vast majority of companies that you're interviewing with. And as well as having an awareness of their strengths and weaknesses, they also know their interests well, they can articulate their motivations, and they know what they like and what they don't like, what they want from a role and what they don't necessarily want as well. They have at least a decent idea of that, and again, are able to communicate that clearly. Next here, great candidates are not afraid to take the time to think. I talked in one of the early lessons around trying to avoid just overwhelming your interviewer with loads of information going at 100 miles per hour, again, just rushing through things. And also, I've seen that sometimes certain candidates can, if they're faced with a particularly challenging question, rather than just take 10 seconds, 20 seconds to have a real think about how they might want to answer this in the best way, again, they're just going for it because they're viewing hesitation potentially as a sign of weakness, that they're going to be perceived as maybe a little bit incompetent because they're not able to answer the question right off the bat. And I can assure you that that is more often than not the case. Interviewers realize that you are human. And when you can show them that you're not afraid of that little silence between them asking you the question and you taking 10 seconds to answer it, that can be a good thing, okay? Because critical thinking, taking a step back, really important skills for graduate roles at the end of the day. So just don't be afraid to take the time to think. That's definitely something to bear in mind. Also, great candidates are fantastic at articulating their thoughts. They know why they want the role, they know their motivations, they know what value they can bring to the position, and they can clearly tell a cohesive story about their experience. And appreciate this one can come with practice as well, just interview practice and getting used to the feel of things, and picking up on examples and cues, and also receiving feedback as well from interviewers. But I think it's just worth, before you start interviewing with companies, having a little practice yourself around this. Just being able to maybe write things down, your motivations, some examples from your previous experience, and just having a go by yourself or perhaps in front of a friend or a family member, and just getting into the flow a little bit of, answering certain questions. And that can just train you to start, again, articulating your thoughts well and telling a compelling narrative around your experience and your motivations and what you can bring to the position as well. And last but certainly not least, I have found the best candidates know how to strike the confidence balance. So they know their value, they know their worth and their selling points, but they're not too overconfident. Okay, they show a degree of humility, especially when it comes to, I mentioned earlier on, their development areas. They're not afraid to receive perhaps constructive feedback, or they actively seek out that feedback. So they're showing the right traits to develop and have that potential to be coached in the role. We use that word coachable a lot within the recruitment field. So hiring managers often want people who can come in and not just take the attitude of it's my way or the highway, okay, and who can listen to those more experienced, those more senior within the team, and again, not come across too overconfident. Confidence is clearly a really valuable trait for a lot of positions out there, but it's just striking that balance. And also knowing your worth, not underselling any of your experience, the relevant experience that you have as well. Okay, fantastic. Well, that brings us to the end of this 5-day mini course. And I really hope that over the last 5 video lessons, you feel you have gained some deeper insights, some advice, some knowledge that you can apply in practice now and really boost your chances of success when you're going for your grad interviews. And in terms of what's next from me, so over the next few days, I'm just going to be sending you a few more emails telling you about my masterclass course. So stay tuned for that. This interview masterclass goes into a lot more detail around the individual elements of the interview. It covers a lot more deeper real life examples as well, in terms of some of the things we've mentioned, like being able to storytell your experience, showcase your value, and other topics as well that we haven't covered today, like dealing with interview nerves, showcasing commercial awareness, how to craft a high quality CV and deal with application questions, and some other real nuggets of knowledge that you'll only be able to get from somebody who has interviewed thousands of graduate candidates and knows exactly what hiring managers are looking for. So stay tuned, look out for some more emails from me over the next few days, where I'm going to be talking about that with you. But other than that, I want to thank you so much for your time, for signing up to this mini course. Please do get in touch with me as well if you have any questions at all, if you are struggling with any specific challenges or certain roles that you're going for. I'd love to be able to give you some more tailored advice too. So please do get in touch. Stay tuned, as I said, for those emails in the coming days, and all the very best with your graduate interviews. And I will hopefully see you again very soon.